This is the inside of the Auto Trail Tribute T-625. If I firstly move to the main control panel, I can turn the 12 volt on just at this point here. After that, we have water pump on and off. We need the water pump on so we can get water out of the taps, flush the toilet and fill the boiler if it has been drained down. Leisure battery selection just here, and it will then also give you a condition reading of it. Vehicle battery select just here, so we can run the back end of the motorhome off the vehicle battery if needed. But also, if you are connected to mains electricity and you select this, this is now the battery that's being charged. And then at this point here, we have how much water is in the fresh water tank. Light switches all along the top here, including the awning light. If I now come round the corner just here, we have the trimmer control for the electric element in the fire just here. To use this, you will see you have an inner dial and an outer. The outer is the power selection. So if I flick all the way down, I'm now running the fire on main supply using 1 kilowatt. If I flick up one, we're now running it on a very low 500 watts. Back to off again. And then right at the top here, we have main supply at 2 kilowatts. So these three settings here are mainly for selecting how much power you want to be drawing. This is very handy, especially if you're on a very low amp site, to try and avoid tripping. Temperature control just in the center here. If you're not connected to mains electricity, you can run the fire on gas, and you just need to come to the dial just here, just turn it round, and you should be able to hear the igniter ticking away. Hold down, and once you can no longer hear the igniter ticking, it's a good indication it's lit. Let go and you can usually hear it whoosh into life. If you're still not completely certain, you can peer for the pilot light just there. And then regardless if you are running the fire on main supply or gas, this part here controls the circulation fan that will then push the air out of all the air ducts around the van. We have a top dial and a lower one. The lower one will turn the fan on. Ignore A, that stands for automatic, but you do have to have an additional thermostat added for that to work. So flick it down to M for manual and the fan will then come on, and then control the fan speed on the top part just here. If you flick it to this one just here, the fan will run very fast. This is very handy if it's a warm day and you just want to circulate the air with no heat. If when you go to try and light the fire on gas, it will not light and you can't hear the ticking sound, it may be that the battery needs replacing in the igniter, and this is just located at the base of the unit. You just need to slide the section up just where my finger is here. You can see that there is an AA battery. The controls for the Truma boiler are just here. One set of switches for hot water on main supply and the other for hot water on gas. The easiest way to tell them apart is that you can see two 30 volt just here, indicating that this one is for main supply. So if you're connected to mains to heat your hot water on the main supply, either flick the rocker switch up or down. Up will give you a water temperature of about 50 degrees and flicking it down about 70. If you're not connected to main supply, you can heat your hot water on gas just at this point here. Firstly, make sure that the flue cover has been removed on the outside of the van, and again flick it up for hot water at 50 and down for hot water at 70. If it fails to light, a little red light will appear. if I now just come to the seating area and just remove some of the cushions, you can now see that we have storage beneath, and then we also have the consumer unit just here. So battery charger on and off just here. Obviously if it's turned off and you're hooked up to the main supply, you will no longer be charging either of the batteries. We then have the main strip switches just here. So we've got the 3 individual MCBs and then the main RCD and test button just here, all labelled up. So if anything is not working on main supply, just check to see if you've tripped at this point here. And then beside that we have the 12 volt fuses, and again all labelled up, so if anything is not working on 12 volt, just check to see if a fuse has blown. We then have both leisure batteries just here, so one here and then one in the floor just here, and then both 20 amp fuses off those batteries. Isolator switch just here for the heating on main supply, so if this is isolated at this point here, it will no longer work up here, so always make sure that this is switched on. Water pump just here, and on the back wall we then have the isolator switch for hot water on main supply. So again, if this is switched off at this point here, it will no longer work at this point here. And then we have the Truma boiler itself to drain the boiler down for winterization. It's just done on the yellow lever here, just literally flap it up and it will then drain all the water out of the boiler underneath the motorhome at this point here. Before doing this, always make sure that the water pump is turned off. And if you are fully winterizing the van, I always suggest that you also open up all of the taps in the van as well, because this will help release any airlocks in the system and make it drain down far more efficiently. When it comes to refilling the boiler back up again, make sure that the drain valve is back across as it is at the moment. Close all the taps in the motorhome, fill up the fresh water tank, turn on the water pump, and then it will then begin to refill the boiler. Let the water pump run for a few minutes and then begin opening the taps. Once they're running freely on both hot and cold, reclose and the system will fully reprime itself. Underneath the other bench seat is storage. You can also see just tucked down there the jack and wheel brace. Microwave just here, so this will work when the motorhome is connected to mains electricity. It's just plugged in up here. This is an eco-friendly, so you just need to hold the eco button in to turn it on. Always advisable to remove all contents for travel. Then we have the auto cook function at the top, obviously defrost, etc. Quick start just here, and stop, timer set, etc. And then beneath that we have the hob, so 3 gas rings, just push in, twist and push the igniter. And then beneath that we have the oven and the grill. And if I now push in and go to the left, that will ignite the oven. And if I push back in and go to the right, that will light the grill. Directly beneath the oven you will find the gas isolation taps for the motorhome. So the top one being the oven, then the fridge, the barbecue point, hot water and heating, all in the on position, and quite frankly they can stay like that. I always say if you do smell gas in the motorhome, go to the source and turn off the gas bottle. Dometic fridge just here, on and off on this button here, and at the moment I'm running on mains electricity with the little picture of the 2-pin plug. If I don't have main supply connected, I can run on gas just by pressing the flame. These fridges auto ignite themselves. If it fails to light due to the fact that the gas is depleted, or there may be some air in the system, or the gas bottle's not turned on, it will begin to beep at you and you'll get a red flashing light just there. To make the fridge attempt to light itself again, just press the button. And then lastly we have 12 volt maintain just here. This is the one we have it on to keep the fridge cold whilst on the move. It will only work whilst the engine is running. So at the moment it will beep at me because the engine isn't running. Temperature control just here. Removable freezer box at the top, and then to vent the fridge when not in use, just push this part in here and just slide this part out, and then that will help the door hold on a jar. TV aerial just located in the overhead locker just here. So on the wall we have the digital amplifier, on and off just here. Make sure it's on before attempting to tune a telly in. Control the boost just here, and as you can see it has a signal finder in it, so the greener the light the better the signal. To raise the TV aerial, just undo the collar just here and then just push up and then get the aerial in the position that you require. This green window here just represents the back of the aerial, so you know which way it's pointing. And H stands for horizontal. We can flip into vertical position for additional tuning if required, and all you need to do is just turn the tail just here. Do make sure that the aerial is back into the horizontal position and that it is also down for travel. Above my head here we have the Omnivent fan. To use this, firstly wind the roof vent open, and then middle button turns the unit on, and then we have arrows out for extraction, arrows in for cooling, and it's variable fan speed just by pressing. Do make sure that all roof vents are down for travel. Wardrobe just here. Freestanding table is just located behind the passenger seat. And then we have the washroom. The light switch in here is just tucked underneath here. We have the shower cubicle. Do make sure that the shower screen is clipped back for travel. We then have the basin and the cassette toilet. So the bowl does swivel about. To open to the cassette, just slide the grey lever across just here and then push the flush. With this particular one, when you press it once, that will start that circulation fan for that ventilation cartridge that sits underneath the cassette, and then when I press it again it will then flush. If you do not want the fan to spin, you can pause it just by pressing here, and we have a level indicator just here to let you know when the cassette needs emptying. and then always make sure that you reclose after use. If you've left this open and you try to remove the cassette from the outside, it will not come out. So if you do feel resistance, just make sure that nobody's left this open. Above the cab area, we have the double bed. Just pull this section towards you and then just flap the mattress over and then attach the ladder to these 2 points just here. And then at the rear for the double bed just here, just undo and then just pull the slats out and then just pop in the cushions. And then you have a nice large double bed. The vehicle battery is just located underneath the driver's seat. And then tucked up here we have both smoke alarm and carbon monoxide alarm.